next speaker is Kung-Yee Liang, who joined Hopkins with Scott in 1982. He was with us until 2010 when he became president of the National Yang-Ming University in Taiwan. And before that, he had taken a little time off from Hopkins and spent time as a vice president of the National Research Institutes of Taiwan from 2003 to 2006, and he also spent a little time as president of that, the equivalent of our NIH, in 2006. He's a member of the Academy of Sciences for the Developing World. He's received a Career Achievement Award from the International Chinese Association. He's won the Remo Lapus Award from the American Public Health Association for his contributions to understanding the epidemiology and control of mental disorders. He won the Spiegelman Award in 1990 for the Best Outstanding Statistician Under 40, and he won with Scott the Snedeker Award in biometry. So it is my pleasure to have Kung-Yee share some thoughts about Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for your very kind introduction, and I also want to thank Karen and Mei Chen for organizing this event. I want to speak with Paul Redhouse about the letter received from Mei Chen. Seems to be quite different than mine, because I thought the letter she wrote, she asked me to spend 15 minutes talking about lack of leadership, which I believe I think I have a lot to offer. So I think that probably with the exception of Scott and Joanne, probably most of you never visit Yang-Ming University in Taiwan. So I probably will spend the first 10 minutes or so just tell a little bit about the university and how much damage been made the last 5 years. Well, it was founded in 1975 as a medical school, and the original mission was to educate trained medical doctors to narrow the gap in health care between the urban and rural areas in Taiwan. So it was free of tuition, but in return, you have to serve for 6 years in the rural area. And this profound mission more or less has been complete. And for those who wonder where the term Yang-Ming is coming from, and it actually was the first name of the philosopher in the Ming Dynasty. I'm pretty sure he must be the great-great-grand uncle of Mei Chen Wang, who shared the same last name. He was ousted by the authority to middle of nowhere and put him in the cave, and now it's called Yang-Ming Cave. Actually, I visited the place last year. It's dark and humid, but maybe that was the place where he can prove the theorem. But instead he come up with the concept of the unity of the knowledge and action. And the late President Chiang Kai-shek was a big fan of his, and actually when the school was founded, it was named after this philosopher. And everything, just mission follow what he preached, which is to learn truthfully just to based on what truthfully learn and to make yourself useful to the society. In less than 20 years, and it has evolved to become a research university, actually in 1994, and it was the first medical university in Taiwan. And so that the mission has been modified, which is to enhance the human health and well-being through research, education, and public policy and service. And to do so, even though it's a small university, and you can see some of the numbers, but I think that we're taking very, in some way, it's not comprehensive university, but we're trying to take reach this aim in some comprehensive, integrated manner by bringing people from basic clinical, public health, community, welfare, and community science together. And we have about 6 schools in medicine, dentistry, nursing, life science, biomedical engineering, and humanity and social science, which provide the general education courses. We have very tiny with about 400 faculty members and roughly about 4,500 students, 55% graduate students, so, and less than 50% undergraduates in majoring in medicine. This is different. It's more like the European system. The medical school start out after high school. And we have teaching hospitals. Actually, the university hospital was not founded until about 7 years ago. And between that one and the Taipei hospital system, they are actually from the basis of community medicine courses. But then in between, we have several veteran general hospitals in Taipei, Taichung was the middle of the island, and the Kaohsiung was in the south. And actually, in particular, the Veteran General Hospital in Taipei is one of the two top medical centers in Taiwan. So with that, we've been able to draw top two very high quality students to Yang-Ming. Given this a research university, I think that, again, we're small in size, so we very much focus on some selected areas. In terms of disease, we look at the major disease in Taiwan. One would be brain and neurological disorders such as Alzheimer, migraine headache, and aging, and also some selected cancer, in particular head and neck, and esophageal and colorectal. And there's also some core areas which actually is not disease per se, but you can expect them to they interact with the clinicians quite closely. One's in the inflammation, immunity, and genomics and stem cells. But also we have biotechnology development in molecular imaging, medical device, and the drug discovery. So I want to say a little bit about the aging. It's actually a serious issue in Taiwan. We'll be setting a record in a couple of years that will take a shorter amount of time to reach from the aging population, which defined as the 7% of the population who are 65 above, to 14%, which is the aged population. Actually, Japan was the next 26 years, and for some other European country, it will take some more than 100 years. So it's a very serious issue, and so in the last several years, we formed a research center for aging and health at Yang-Ming, and it's a multidisciplinary team consisting of experts in clinical basic public health, pharmacology, and biomedical engineering. It's led by a physician scientist who also a Yang-Ming graduate with a PhD in health and welfare policy. And we have a monthly meeting on third Saturday. And for clinicians there in Taiwan, they really work them very hard. They have clinical work Monday and Friday, so you only find time in the Saturday to have a meeting. And I participated at those meetings because I would like to learn as much as I could about this serious issue. So just last year, we received two large grants from the Ministry of Science and Technology, and we also just established recently collaboration with the National Center for Geriatrics and Gerontology in Japan. Hopefully we can establish more collaboration with Hopkins, led by Karen Jeremy. So I want to share with you this cartoon about just the, we formed a cohort in one of our counties, Liang County, to test the working hypothesis that actually if through proper exercise and could lead to the delay of a degeneration of neuron, which in turn could actually make the frailty process reversible. So that's a if that actually can be verified, I think will profound impact as to how one can pursue in terms of a healthcare service. Now, in terms of a policy, I think that there's a very serious issue we're confronting with in Taiwan. Just take an example: someone's elderly, just fell with the hip fracture, so needed surgery, spend time in hospital. But then that's only the beginning of the whole process. So starting with acute care to post-acute care, long-term care, and community care. And currently there's there's a lack of dialogue among those 4 different areas. So I think that there's some recent effort being made to help just integrate those 4 different components from the point of view of care management, workforce, and the financial system. Meantime, I think that also it's critical that to rethink about the curriculum for medical education, because from what I heard, most of the doctors being trained in Taiwan, they all think about the cares, the acute care, and in hospital. But once get out of hospital, they have very little knowledge, and so I think that it's time for think about the curriculum change. Probably I just say a little bit, just skip this, just except to say that the head and neck cancer actually ranked very high, fourth in Taiwan among cancer, only next to lung cancer, liver cancer, and breast cancer. And what's making interesting is the etiology of the head between Taiwan and the Western world is quite different. And because one of the major risk factors in Taiwan is what the basal nut chewing. It's a very high percentage, and also among just about every individual, they are smokers. Okay, and on the other hand, the HPV positive rate is much lower in Taiwan compared to the Western world. The other unique feature about this head and neck compared to other cancers that it's a local destruction. Okay, didn't express much as quickly as much compared to others. So we also form a team to actually address this issue, and again led by I think it's a very bright young physician scientist with a PhD in molecular biology, and he forms a team with people from different areas. He's just recent as a paper published in Cancer Cell, just actually using the biophotonic as a tool to measure the movement of the cell, and they conclude that actually there's an interaction between the cancer cell and some of the immune cells, actually making the cancer worse. So here's just about Yang-Ming in a nutshell, and I want to share with you a conversation. This is a real story with D.A. Henderson, who was at the banquet last night, and it was 2 years ago. He went to Taiwan receiving a very prestigious award by the president of the country, just thanking him for the contribution he made to advancing the science and technology in Taiwan. So the local chapter, Hopkins, held a banquet in his honor. And he found out that actually I was in Taiwan working at a university. So he was very curious about the question you saw. But I knew that deep in his heart, what the hell the people in Taiwan thinking. So I told him that this is a long story. So I happened to be back in Hopkins 2 years ago. So we met in one of the restaurants in the Inner Harbor. And here's my answer. As I think we have a common interest in people, the medical community in Taiwan. People there love to eat dogs. And people there love baseball. Actually, in my interview for the search committee at Yang-Ming, I told them that I helped Oriole to recruit Wei Yin-Chen to that works. So, but a little more serious. I don't think he was buying that. So I just thought that for our profession, I think that we have the ability. It's not unique, but I think that the ability to collaborate, working with others, to learn from each other. Also that with the ability to look at things horizontally instead of vertically. So there's such thing as the general methodology, that whatever tools we develop can be applied not just to one particular disease, but maybe across the board as well. But I don't think that he was very convincing either. But in all honesty, I think that I agree with what Mei Chen said last night, that we are all very grateful to Chuck's leadership. We learned a great deal about him, except that I just wish I would be at least half as good as he is. And the main thing we learned, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me, that Chuck is the only person in the world I think that's just unassuming as a person, as a loyal to any institute, in this case the Department of Biostatistics. And he will be, if you think something good happened to you, he will be just as happy, if not more so than you. I remember in 1987, based on our two papers in '86, Scott and I won the Snedeker Award. And I'm pretty sure Chuck was the one nominated the award. And once he learned the news, he made the special arrangement having a faculty meeting at the Frost Room in the second floor. I don't know if some of you remember or not. So I made the announcement, and then judging from the degree of excitement, he couldn't tell if he was the one won the award or not. And actually, I recall that the comment Richard Royal made after the announcement said, the typical rich royal. So it took 2 persons and 2 papers to win the war. So that's a nice compliment. But I think that some of the thing that Chuck and preacher, and then we heard throughout the morning is that actually always in the back of my mind. And first thing I did, Yang-Ming, just to set up a incentive to encourage senior faculty to mentor junior faculty, something I benefit tremendously from Chuck. And also trying as much I could to trying to build to have the consensus building and trying to think positively. Now, if I can get on the more personal level, I think that probably fair to say that I believe it's true that I probably was the first Asian was joining the department years ago, and which really opened the door for many international students, scholars to join this department to study or to engage in research and education. And from day one, I believe that Chuck has been my mentor. And in my first year, the course I taught was advanced categorical analysis. Chuck was in the class. He was very polite, saying, "Oh, just trying to learn the new material." But I knew that trying to make sure that I'm on the right track to be reasonably good lecturer. And I remember that the first grant I wrote actually is R21. I don't think it's existing now. It happened to be the first award. I'm trying to build on the work Scott, Steve, and I did on the longitudinal data and extended to a genetic study, which share something in common, which is lack of independence assumption. But I didn't know how to put them together. Just think about the title. So I went to Chuck. So he gave me the wonderful title, Statistical Method for Non-Standard Data in Epidemiology. And it worked, and we got funded. And probably you have a similar experience that when you got stuck in the research, I will never hesitate to go to Chuck as his opinion. And he always give you the answer right away. In 1987, I have a very small paper in the biometric. I'm trying to look at the issue of conditional likelihood in dealing with a nuisance parameter. So there's a concept of orthogonality between the parameters interest and nuisance parameter, but I didn't know how to find the right reference. Just like that, and Chuck gave me the right reference. And he's been very supportive of me actually in that regard. I thank not just Chuck but Scott as well, giving the opportunity to spend times in Taiwan so to get to know the medical community in Taiwan. And in I think the 2 days before Christmas in the year of 1983, my oldest son was born at the New Union Memorial Hospital, and across the street from where we used to live. And there was that day was fine, but the following day, which is Christmas Eve, it started snowing and very, very hot. And Yongguan and I got stuck with, are we ready? Do we have all the diapers, all the things? Where are you going to find those things? The Giants, Savory Park will be closed. In the meantime, all the nurses trying to encourage to discharge because they want to celebrate Christmas by themselves. And for those who know Chuck, and when we have heavy snow and are living in the Timonian, he would prefer not to drive to work. But surely, and that morning, and Chuck and Savella drove all the way from Timonian to come see us. Really give us the warmest blessing to our newborn baby in any way you can imagine. So I'm really thankful to Chuck for all he had done to me. Now in the last 5 years, and Chuck and I stay in touch, and we're talking about, so from time to time Chuck would draw me a note just to say, talking about the Ravens, Orioles, and some of the local talk show hosts that we enjoy listening. With the permission from Chuck, I want to share with the two of them with you. And this is having a little more than 2 years ago, Ravens played the final home game at the M&T Stadium. And Chuck took Brooks and Brooksy and to watch the game. So he just wanted to let me know that I should be jealous about. And So that's my return. So I really, yes, I'll get up, have a set up that I can watch the game in Taiwan as well. So. Last August, Chuck found out that Yongguang and I will be returning to Maryland. So he invited us to their house for dinner. Of course, then there was a time that Orioles were in first place, so he said, note the position of the O's. As you can tell, I'm not as positive thinking as Chuck is. I was concerned that the Jim Tonasha will blame me if the Orioles started losing streak. Anyway, we have a wonderful dinner that night at Chuck's and Sevilla's house. I just want to end my talk sharing with the three photos. And this is the inside of the house between Chuck and Yongguang. And not to be outdone, we have Sevilla and me and a lovely backyard. And so I just want to say that it's been a privilege for me to get to know Chuck and having you as a mentor, colleague, and a friend. And I was telling Yongguang that there's no chance I'll miss the special event today. And she said she agreed with me wholeheartedly, which didn't happen very often. And she also said that she wished they could have been here today. So congratulations, Chuck.